This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Hello.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Konnichiwa.
Ni hao.
Ciao.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Mabuhay.
Welcome to Washington State.
Explore the sights. Discover new things.
Appreciate the arts, music, and food.
Travel to new places.
Meet the people.
Make new friends.
In other words,
come
home with us.
Come home with us.
This is INCRadio Seattle, Washington.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our listeners and viewers all around the world. My name is Brother Joshua Weber from the local congregation of Everett in the sometimes cloudy, currently pretty sunny district here in Washington State. If you're wondering why I'm currently trying to look over to my left, it's because my dog suddenly bust open my door and is trying to knock things over. So please don't mind that. Today we're going to continue doing our segments of finding joy. And of course, today our topic is collecting. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest for today, starting with Brother J-Rod. So Brother J-Rod, go ahead and introduce yourself and give any shout outs if you have any at this time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brother J-Rod from the local of Tacoma. And I am here because I find joy in collecting things, like a lot of things, and I'll get more into that later on. But yeah, I'm happy to be here with you, with you, Brother Josh, and everyone else here in Washington State. Shout out to all my friends and fam all over the world. Philippines, all throughout the country. East Coast, SoCal, Washington fam, all of you, and a special shout out to Kat Monforte. Happy birthday to you. And to you and Kat Tristam, happy anniversary to both of you. May God continue to bless you guys both in your marriage. And, much love to the three kitties, Lily, Gab, and Sandro. Baby of the year. Bye.
All right, thank you very much, Brother J-Rod. Also joining us today is Brother Jeremy. So go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brother Jeremy from the same local as Brother J-Rod, representing Tacoma. Again, you can see I love shoes, so that's going to be the majority of what I talk about. And special shout out to local of Tacoma. Happy to be a part of the INCRadio for once.
Yeah, we're happy to have you, Brother Jeremy. I know just personally, I know Brother J-Rod has a thing for shoes as well, so we already have a common collection between our two guests here. But I feel like Brother J-Rod has a little bit more than just shoes he wants to talk about today, just based on that beautiful smile of his. Alrighty. So before we begin, of course, we're gonna have our YouTube question for today. Let's see here. Our YouTube question is, do you collect anything? So once again, do you collect anything? And once again, we're not sponsored by Nike or any of the other shoe brands or any of our other brands that we will be mentioning here today. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go into our topic for today. Oh, sorry. Yes, let's go. So Brother J-Rod, I heard a little music in the background. It kind of confused me there. So, Brother J-Rod, we'll start with you. What is it that you collect?
My collecting is manifold. I collect a plethora of things. I collect friendships and relationships with individuals. I find joy in building those bonds. But in terms of other things, I've collected movies before, back when physical media, before digital media, I would collect, I was collecting DVDs. Then, of course, technology advances, and then I started collecting Blu-rays, and then technology advanced again, and then I started collecting digital content. So those are all weird things. But right now, something that I've been collecting for quite some time, like Brother Jeremy, I collect sneakers. I just love shoes, and as you can see behind me, I collect Legos. That I've loved Legos since I was a tiny little tyke, and now that it's a lot of the creators for Lego, not sponsored, are in and around my age group. A lot of our pop culture, um, a lot of our pop culture icons have been put into Lego format. So it's, for me personally, a great time, a very expensive time, as my wife would say, um, but a great time to get into, the Lego collecting, because there's so many amazing sets out there. But yeah, that's just a small portion of the things that I've collected.
I see, Brother J-Rod. I know personally, of course, like many, I wouldn't say our age group because I believe we are different ages, but we are within the same age group, I will say. Grew up playing with, if not Lego, any of those other kind of building blocks. So, of course, it's one of those kind of like core childhood memories to be playing with them. And now it's to that point where even now, like they have those, like you mentioned, most things have been made into Lego, if not actual like structures. Like I know I've seen the Eiffel Tower and like a Colosseum and stuff like that. So those kind of things are amazing. Um, of course, not sponsored by Lego once again. So we'll go ahead and turn to you, Brother Jeremy. What is it that you collect? I know we kind of already touched on it, and we'll throw in why is it that you collect as well?
Yeah, so actually I started off collecting baseball cards, like, when I was really, really young, like maybe second, third grade. It was really popular. I grew up in Hawaii, so like baseball was really popular over there. Started collecting that, and uh, pretty much so a little bit of background. My dad used to be in the Navy, so he would, get stationed to different places overseas, and he would come back, and he was a little bit of a shoe collector, so he would come back with like, if he came from Italy, he would have like a pair of Filas that were really popular here, and that kind of like I caught the bug that way. So like us being technically the same shoe size as being younger, it was a lot easier for me to like steal his shoes, and that's kind of like what led me into, I mean, not steal, but borrow. Uh, Kind of led me to when to start a collection of my own. Yeah, I collect a myriad of stuff, kind of like Brother J. We pretty much have the same vices. Mine is predominantly shoes, but I do collect Funko Pops, Legos, and uh, I'm a very fond of Mariners fitted hats. So I've caught that bug during COVID, and yeah, I mean it's a fun thing, relieve stress, and it's something to it's in a way to express myself since I'm pretty much an introvert.
I see. I know it's easy to kind of look at our things. I know we were talking about first we're like, oh, shoes, but then we're like, actually, I also collect all these other things too. And it's really cool to see because I know a lot of brethren they collect things like hats, shoes, but especially the playing cards. I know there's quite a few brethren who not only collect but also play them as well. Um, so, Brother J-Rod, I'll turn this question to you because I know we had Brother Jeremy kind of answer it. So, Brother J-Rod, what is it that got you into collecting?
There wasn't one singular factor. I mean, for depending on what it is that we're talking about, the answer will change. Um, there are certain things that we like, that we think look cool or think look awesome. So you get one, and then you start. I start feeling okay, cool. This is well, he needs a friend, right? That was the answer I used for some of my things now. He's like, oh, he needs a friend. And then so you get another one, and then you're like, oh, wait, but then what if they get bored of each other? So they're going to need another friend. And then you can keep on going from there. So, for my Legos, when I was younger, I played with them a lot. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, I have the ability to buy more cool Legos now, right? I don't need to ask, mom and dad to buy me the Legos. So, I would start going from there. When it comes down to my sneakers, when I was younger, I understood my parents would always say, oh, one pair of shoes a year because, you grow out of them. But I've always, liked the way that, Jordans and Nikes, not sponsored, look. So as I got older, I started investing more into them because now my shoe size is going to stay a certain size, and I could just get as many as I want. Not as many as I want. There are certain limitations. Space for once, but yeah, wallet is another one. But there's little things. So at the end of the day, what got me into it is just really the love of whatever those items were, and whatever it was, um, and then just going from there. That's why it would kind of like alternate what I end up collecting.
I see. I personally, I wouldn't say I collect anything. Well, that's not true. I collect like video games, whether that's physical or digital, and that's just because that's kind of part of my childhood. I grew up with my cousins. That's how we bonded. We played video games together, and whenever they came over, that's the one thing we did. If not, mess around and do borderline dangerous things as kids do. And borderline getting us all in trouble or hurt, but none of us were hurt, so that's the most important part. Well, besides emotionally. Brother Terrell can attest to that when he if he's listening in. All right, so Brother Jeremy, what is your prized collection?
So I have a few. I guess I would say like my most, in terms of value, would be like I have it right here, which is called the Red Lobster. It's a SB Dunk. Um, goes from anywhere from like $3,000 to $4,000 and worth. I bought this back in 2008. I want to say 2008, 2009. Then my most memorable shoe would be Jordan 12 Flu Games. That's just a shoe I loved when I had it when I was a kid. They released a couple more times, so every time they come out, I usually get them. It's just like really sentimental to me because as a kid, I wore them pretty much every single day until they fell apart, and then they just grew on me. Yeah, I mean, those are like, I mean, I could go through pretty much all my collection. As you can see, a lot of my shoes I haven't really worn yet. So this one is like, it's a Dornbecker, so it's a special edition. It was made for like a cancer hospital that, they sell these shoes for auction, and then the proceeds go to help, fight cancer. So that's kind of like one of the reasons also I'm really into collecting like the exclusive type of shoes.
I see. That's really cool, actually. I've never seen. Well, because I'm not really a shoe person, but I could tell Brother J Rod was very excited and he was smiling pretty big with each one that was brought up. So it seems like these are very at least well known within the community of the shoe collecting. Um, but yeah, those are very cool. I've never seen any of those, and they all look really nice. I'm not gonna lie. So, Brother J Rod, I'll also ask you. So, like, what is your prize? Like, either collection. Sorry, there we go.
Um, it might be. Oh wow, you know what? I can't really pinpoint it. Like um, my two big ones would be my sneakers and my watches, which is really weird because it's not for the reason that people would think. Yeah, I love shoes, but then it's just the what they mean to me. Like for my watches, something that I always say is that uh, time is a very interesting concept. You grow with time. We become better with time, and we shouldn't waste our time, right? And then with shoes, you use your shoes on your feet, and it, it's like just the idea of where your feet take you, the path that you walk on. So those would be like the biggest, most important aspects to me. But if we're talking about like the actual like most important, coolest thing that I've ever collected, oh man, I feel weird because I'm gonna have to turn my back to you all real quick. But It's my DeLorean Lego set. I've wanted this for so long. Back to the Future, the series is one of my favorite series ever, especially with the concept of time. And so when this set came out, I needed to have it. And yeah, people come over and visit and they want to play with it because I think you could see it like lights up inside. Yay. And when people want to see it light up, they break it. Looking at you, someone by the name of rhymes with Annika. But yeah, these are like, things that Back to the Future was a big part of my childhood. I grew up watching it, and it's one of my feel good movies. So that's the most prized possession out of my collection.
I see. That was a very interesting, with the shoes and the watches. I like that. I like the idea behind it, the kind of mindset with that. It's very. I thought at first you were going to make a time pun, but then you kind of kept going with that. I was like, oh no, easy. It's a it's a good one, not a pun. So we're safe on that one. But it's very cool to see and hear about all these different collections, because for the most part when we collect, it's of course like the sentimental value, if not for that specific item, the idea around it, like we were talking about Legos with childhood. Of course, like in the case with brother Jeremy, you got your shoes that you start with you kind of start collecting with your dad kind of thing, and it's just that those kind of like core like memory kind of things. So that's really cool to see with your guys' collections. So now here's another kind of fun one. I'll go with brother Jeremy first. How is it that you organize your collections?
Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much tell. I try to keep mine on uh, front drop boxes, so that way I can see all of them. I do have a stack of shoe boxes behind me, so I got to order more. Um, it's just, timing, and like, I try to wait for them to go on sale, so that way, I can save money on the display boxes. But yeah, usually, yeah, once I get like 10 or 12 new pairs of shoes, I'll go ahead and start ordering more clear drop front boxes, and it helps me be able to pick out shoes quickly instead of having to dig through the boxes. So yeah, that's one of the ways I organize it. Or like, my hats, I have a hat rack, and I could see the side patches sticking out. So if I want to match it with my shoes or my outfit, I can they're easily accessible.
Nice. How about you, brother J Rod? I know you kind of have a display case as well there, but I know we can't see your other collections like shoes and of course friendships. You can't really showcase that too much on a physical thing. But how is it that you organize some of your collections then?
For my sneakers, watches, ties, cufflinks, tie clips, it's all color, size, design. Material for watches. For Jordans, it's in numerical, color coordinated order. That was before. Now, because I love my wife, it's wherever it fits and is aesthetically pleasing. And I just have to mention that because it's funny. One of the things that my wife, my loving wife, says to me now whenever I think about getting like a new Lego set or a new pair of sneakers is, for a new Lego set, she'll say, "Where are we gonna put it?" And just before this, we were having a discussion about putting floating shelves behind me, and that's a discussion that we'll continue to have. And then for my sneakers, she has this running joke that, and brother Jeremy could attest to it, and all you other individuals that are into shoes, she'll always say it's the same shoe, and I'm like, no, they're not. It's a different color. She's like, no, it's the same exact shoe. Uh, but I mean, I love her. So they just get hidden in a closet somewhere until they appear, and then we have that discussion at that time.
I see. All right then. So, as much as I'd like to continue going on, we're going to have to come to a close for our discussion. So, before that, though, one last question for each of you, Brother Jeremy. Um, what is it that would complete your collection?
Ooh, that's a hard question because I don't think it ever would be complete. I would say evolving would be the word, but if anybody has a Jordan 1 from 1985 that's willing to sell it for a decent size in a size 11, please let me know.
All right. And how about you? Well, we'll pick one of your many collections, Brother J. Rod. We'll go with the one that we can see behind you, your Lego collection then.
The UCS Millennium Falcon set,
Ooh.
the really big, like $800 one. That one would be fabulous. And yes, to my loving wife who's watching, if I were to get that, I will stop collecting Legos. Wink, wink. Birthday's coming up.
All right, there we go. So thank you again, Brother Jeremy and Brother J-Rod, for joining us today. It was a lot of fun hearing about your guys' collections. And, maybe I'll start collecting shoes myself. No, probably not. Because my my mom would kill me. So there we go. All right. So thank you once again. And we're going to go ahead and go into our next segment, which is our CFO in action. And I will be doing that for us today. So for our past activities, we had on September 14th, the Kadiwa Family Fun Day, which was a rock climbing at Vertical World over in Linwood. Also on September 15th, we had the district-wide all-officers special gathering at 6 p.m. in Seattle. Now for our future or upcoming activities, we have today and tomorrow. So that is the 21st and 22nd. Those are our musical EVM practices or rehearsals. Today will be at 2 p.m., so right after this broadcast, and tomorrow at 3 p.m. Both our practices or rehearsals will be in Seattle. On Sunday, tomorrow, the 22nd, we also have our TSV special gathering, which will be in the Tacoma Chapel at 6 p.m. On Monday, the 23rd, we have our district baptism at 7:30 p.m. On this coming Friday, the 27th, we have our CFO family bonding day. Of course, we will be watching a Mariners game. So that the game starts at 7 p.m. So it would be best to be there at least before then, so that way we can find our seats and potentially find all of our other brethren who will be sitting within the same section as us. Also on Sunday, the 29th, later this month, we have our student special gathering and recognition that will be in the local congregation of Shoreline. So once the registration is sent out, we are encouraging all of the students in our district to go ahead and please register for that event, and we will see you there on the 29th in Shoreline. Let's do a quick little weather here. It looks like today we are doing just fine here in Everett. Let's see. In Seattle, it's currently 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or for those who are listening outside of the US, for pretty much everywhere else, it is 18 degrees Celsius. Now, throughout this week, it'll be roughly around a high of 75, lows of 50s, lowest being 53, which will be on this coming Wednesday. It'll be mostly cloudy, partly cloudy throughout the week, and we're expecting some rain on Wednesday and Friday. All right, and that wraps up our CFO in action, and back to you, Brother Josh. Thank you, Brother Josh. All right. So, and with that, we are coming to the close of our broadcast today. Thank you once again, Brother Jeremy and Brother J-Rod, for joining us and sharing with us your collection. I know I personally really enjoyed hearing about that, both not only just the sneakers from Brother Jeremy and Brother J-Rod, but also the other kind of abstract collections of friendships, which is Very cool. Very interesting. Um, of course, as a reminder, we have our ways to tune in, which is our YouTube channel. That is the INC Radio DZEM 954. If you're already watching or will watch through the YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon that appears afterwards. So that way you can stay up to date with not only our satellite here in Washington, but all of our other satellites all around the world. Not only do we have the YouTube channel, but we also have the INCRadio.org. And with that, we'd like to give our special thank yous and shout outs to Brother Eduardo Manalo, our Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Manalo, our SEBC President and CFO Coordinator, Brother Ramil Regino, our District Minister, Brother Relly Rivera, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Chris Valdez, our CFO Overseer, Brother Manly Andaya, our Executive Producer, of course, the listeners, and last but definitely not the least, the INC Radio Tech crew. Thank you all so much for your love and support, and none of this would be possible without the love of each and every single one of you. So with that, from INC Radio Seattle, we will see you later.